Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan James. I'm a mindset coach that loves to focus on relationships. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how you can break negative patterns in your life. And I just put out a brand new workshop going over the mechanics of how to do this for yourself, but I'm going to summarize it in this video. And if you want additional information, you can check out the workshop that is on my website. The link is in the description below. Now, when it comes to identifying and breaking negative patterns in our life, and I'm really putting this within the scope of romantic relationships, there's a few things that we need to take into consideration, which is our identity, so our belief system, as well as what our nervous system is attuned to, what our nervous system has normalized, and what both our belief system and our nervous system is drawn to because it's within the bounds of our comfort zone or the normalized experiences that we've gone through. Now, when it comes to human interactions and dynamic formation, on my channel, I really strive to take, at least with my message and what I talk about, I really strive to take a fair and balanced approach when it comes to accountability. I don't think it's our place to take accountability for other people's actions, but it is our place to look at why we have entertained certain dynamics, why we stayed in certain dynamics when we shouldn't have, why we silenced ourselves, why we accepted certain things, and how we got to where we are. Because by the time we're in a fully fleshed out circumstance, there's been quite a few things that have happened that have just compiled on top of each other to bring you into whatever it is that you're experiencing. And so when it comes to assessing negative patterns in your life, this does take a little bit of skill and patience with yourself to ask yourself the right questions, to be very introspective. So that is going to be the first step when we're thinking about breaking negative patterns in our life is scoping out of the specifics of where we are right now and taking a bigger picture point of view on who we are in general and the experiences that we've had up to this point that have molded and shaped us. Now, again, when we're looking at our identity, okay, the belief system that we hold, that's not just something that we just snap into. That's something that's formed over time through multiple experiences, primarily our foundational experiences, the household that we grew up in, the example that our parents set, and how we interacted with them and what we normalized with them on a social level. That's going to be the foundation for relationships. And I've done quite a few videos on this in the past about how your parents set the foundational template for love. But again, I'm going to reiterate this point. You want to look at these experiences much like concepts. So your father is the first example of a man, your mother is the first example of a woman, how you interact with them, how your needs and wants are being met, your ability to communicate, your ability to uphold healthy boundaries. The example that they set with boundaries really shapes and molds you for interpersonal dynamics as well as romantic dynamics. So if there's anything that occurred within your childhood, you want to look at what was your dominant experience? What was your dominant experience with the first male in your life? What was the dominant experience with the first female in your life? And that's going to really show you, in general, for most people, what you believe about men and women. And then your initial dating experiences usually add to that. Now, there's some context here that needs to come into play because if you had a dominantly healthy childhood, one thing that could have happened is just at a young age, due to being naive, you stayed in some negative relationships that really impacted you and really shaped your belief system in a different way. But for the most part, for most people, the foundational experience they have in their household really sets the template for what they normalize within relationships. So that's one component that we have to take into consideration when we're looking at breaking negative patterns within our romantic life. The other thing that we have to take into consideration is in those experiences, not only did we pick up beliefs, but we also, our nervous system normalized particular feeling states. All right. So if I grow up in an environment where I'm neglected, if I grow up in an environment where my wants and needs aren't being met, if I grow up in an environment where I'm not allowed to explore my own individuality, right? Then I'm getting affected by that from a belief standpoint. But again, your foundational experience, the household that you're in, for most people is about 18 years. We'll say like, okay, from the age 7, okay, beyond, okay, at least 11 years, we're going through repeated experiences that are molding our belief system, but also shaping what we normalize from a feeling state. So if I grow up in an environment where I'm neglected, where my wants and needs aren't being met, where I'm silenced, where I'm not able to advocate for myself or explore my own individual interests, again, not only is that going to shape and mold my identity, but I'm going to normalize actually feeling those ways, feeling neglected, feeling not seen, feeling not heard, feeling not acknowledged, feeling not honored. Now, this is really important to understand because, again, we're looking at what have we normalized? What is our comfort zone? And when I say comfort zone, that doesn't necessarily mean comfortable. That just means what is our normalized expectation, right? So when we take these things into consideration, very generally, again, we're scoping out of the specifics of whatever it is that you're going through because we want to assess how we got to where we are. When it goes into interpersonal dynamics and getting to know people and dynamics forming, if we're going into relationships with negative beliefs about men, women, ourselves, relationships, our wants and needs being met, our ability to have boundaries, voice our boundaries, our ability to feel seen, heard, respected, okay? If we don't have the best beliefs for that, and we've also normalized feeling neglected, not feeling seen, not feeling honored, not having our wants and needs being met, even though on a conscious level we don't like those things, if it's normalized, you have to understand the way that your brain works is it wants to prove your beliefs true, which means we're going to find, okay, if my beliefs are, I'm going to pick one belief, it's normal for people to not respect me. Okay. Obviously, on a conscious level, we don't like that. But again, our brain doesn't know how to differentiate between a healthy belief and an unhealthy belief. So if my brain wants to prove my beliefs true, then when somebody is not respecting me, that's not going to register as a red flag in my mind, and I'm not going to have a problem with it. And I'm going to subconsciously accept this experience, even if on a conscious level, I don't like it, right? So generally, when dynamics are forming, there's little moments and things that occur where somebody disrespects you, where somebody doesn't meet your needs and wants, somebody doesn't communicate with you consistently, whatever it may be. And instead of recognizing that and removing yourself and setting an example that it's normal for you to receive those things, you may find yourself frustrated with it, but behaviorally, you stay in the situation, you accept it. Now, we want to look at those moments because, again, we form dynamics over time with individuals. And that's not to take ownership and accountability for what that person is doing. We just got to look at what example have we set that has led us to where we are, right? So if my brain wants to prove my beliefs true and it's normal for people to disrespect me, and I've normalized feeling disrespected, there's going to be so many moments where somebody presents as disrespectful towards me, and because it's within my normalized comfort zone of expectations and experiences, I'm going to find that I accept it. I stay. I entertain it. I allow it, right? So when it comes to breaking negative patterns, we really have to assess very foundationally what are the beliefs that I hold and what has my nervous system normalized? Because in those moments, if I hold a belief like it's normal for me to be respected in my romantic relationships and I've normalized feeling seen and respected, I'm going to see that behavior very clearly. I'm going to catch it. I'm going to remove myself or respond in a way that says, if you want to be in my life, you're going to respect me. If you don't want to respect me, I don't need you. Okay. And so, again, when we find ourselves in negative patterns, these things are usually automatically arising. Nobody wakes up and they're like, yeah, I totally want to have like the same terrible experiences over and over and over again, right? But we have to understand, how is it automatically arising? What's the mechanics behind that? And we have to really take into consideration how brilliant our body is. Our brain doesn't know the difference between a healthy belief and an unhealthy belief. Our nervous system doesn't know the difference between a desirable experience and an undesirable experience. We just go through experiences and pick up beliefs and normalize particular feeling states that then draw us towards similar people, places, and things and ways of responding and reacting that perpetuate those patterns. So, again, when it comes to breaking negative patterns within your life, you really want to scope out of the specifics and look at this very generally. Once you identify what needs to be adjusted within your belief system, you also want to make sure that you come in with some consistent nervous system regulation practices to help your body relax enough to take on this new way of identifying, but also attune your nervous system to new experiences. If you can do these two things, and build a very solid routine and structure to the approach that you're taking, you'll find in a very short amount of time that your perception shifts, the automatic thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and ways of operating begin to shift. The experiences that you're drawn to really change, and how people are interacting with you and how you're responding to them really changes. At the end of the day, in order for us to break negative patterns, we have to become somebody that no longer perpetuates those patterns. But it's much bigger than just making the conscious decision to no longer perpetuate negative patterns. Again, patterns are automatic. So we have to really foundationally assess what within me is automatically perpetuating these patterns that are going on. Okay. Making this change doesn't take a long time. It just comes down to accurately identifying the beliefs that need to be adjusted and building solid routines to continue to introduce these beliefs into your mind in the most stable environment, both internally and externally, which means how you organize yourself and how you apply yourself each day matters. Building solid routines, diversifying your time, prioritizing keeping your environment stable, really looking at how you're spending your time and cutting out behaviors that are contradicting or behaviors that are keeping you stuck in old ways of identifying. If you can do that and scope out of the specifics and realize I just need to focus on myself and assess what within me is driving negative patterns, you will find not only are you able to outgrow negative patterns, you can rebuild dynamics, you can move on from toxic relationships or toxic people, you can consistently elevate, or you can embrace brand new experiences that you've never had before. So, again, when it comes to breaking negative patterns, the only person you need to change and look at is yourself. What identity am I existing in? What are my past experiences that have shaped and molded me? And what do I need to adjust within myself from a belief standpoint so that I can begin to naturally go in new ways that allow for me to create new automatic patterns with things I actually want to experience? All this is about really looking at what do I believe about myself? What do I believe about men? What do I believe about women? What do I believe about romantic dynamics or interpersonal dynamics? What do I believe about my wants and needs being met? What do I believe about my ability to uphold healthy boundaries? What do I believe about how I interact with people on a social scale? Do people easily and openly embrace me? Is it normal for the right people to love me and embrace me and welcome me into different social dynamics? It's really about taking a look at yourself and again, coming in with the necessary adjustments for your beliefs so that you can become somebody that now that normalizes those experiences and behaviorally shows up in a way that allows for you to sustain them. If you want any help with this, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I just did a brand new workshop on breaking negative patterns. There's about 4 hours of video content, 9 different belief templates. I show you how to create a daily routine. I show you how to implement it and essentially coach yourself. So you won't need me, you won't need any other content on YouTube. And I really go deep into the conceptual topics that will allow for you to accurately understand what is at play here, the importance of your beliefs, what your nervous system has become attuned to, how to assess yourself and your past experiences, as well as your adult experiences, and how to build routines that actually allow for you to sustainably create this change. So, again, you can check that out. The link is in my description. Otherwise, really listen to what I've said here today and take the time to critically assess yourself. Like I said at the beginning, this is all about introspection and really seeing who do I need to become genuinely at a foundational level within my identity that's going to allow for me to naturally break any sort of negative patterns I have within my life. As always, you got this. You don't have to settle for anything in life. You can create a life that you love. You can get what you want. It's normal for you to get what you want. Okay. It's normal for you to be able to overcome challenges and it's normal for you to grow and change. So don't ever feel like you're stuck or like you just can't break negative patterns within your life because that is the farthest thing from the truth. It's just about, again, taking an approach that's sustainable, that actually addresses what needs to be addressed in a way that you're comfortable with. And so that's why I really developed the workshop because everybody's different, right? We're all going to have a different way of approaching things. And when it comes to sustainability, you have to build a routine that feels comfortable for you. You have to address your beliefs in a way that's comfortable for you. And you have to really take yourself into context, right? And so that's why being able to assess yourself is going to be the most useful thing because only you truly know the experiences that you've had and how they've impacted you. All right. So don't ever feel like you're alone. You 1000% got this. I believe in you. I know that you can create the change that you want in your life, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I love you all so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.